Hi there, and welcome to the Peters Podcast, where today we are going to talk about feminism. And honestly, actually, a friend asked me to do this one. And before we start, I do want to give a shout out to the Beard Struggle. I will have a link in the description to get yourself some deals on some great beard products. Now, feminism is definitioned as the advocacy of women's rights on basis of equality of sexes. Now, there's been tons of topics about sexes and genders and all that fun stuff. But today, I want to focus on this. And feminism is great. Feminism is good. I like feminism to a degree. I believe that and there are multiple stages of different types of feminism that has been gone on through multiple strands of years. So feminism is a range of socio-political movements and ideologies that aim to define and establish the political, economic, personal, and social equality of sexes, is the first line in Wikipedia. And I think that is true. I think everybody should be treated equally. I don't see a problem with feminism in terms of like, hey, if a woman decides to go and join plumbing, she should get paid the same amount as a man. And if she does a good enough job, she should get paid just as much as someone who's doing a good job. Now, the stories I have usually go into depth of like, hey, I've done a lot of jobs in my time. I've done sheet metal, I've done plumbing, I've done carpentry, I've done sales, I've done, you name it, I've probably done it. There's been very few jobs that I haven't done, and there's been very, very few jobs that I'm willing to do. Now, what? Oh, okay. I'm going to open this tab. Now, before I get too deep into the art of feminism, I do want to explain how I am with feminism. That way there's no confusion. So, going back a bit, I do, within my family, there are a lot of females, and a lot of them can do a lot more than I can at certain things, and I've accepted that. For instance, I was doing I was apprenticing for sheet metal, and needless to say, I wasn't very good. I didn't do well, and I don't care. And within the company that I was working at, there was also a plumber who was an apprentice, and she was a female. She was another apprentice, and she was doing a lot better than I was when I went to plumbing. When I went to plumbing, it was like a couple of years before that, and I looked over and I was just like, man, I hope she gets paid more than I do. And when I got paid, it was like 18 an hour to start plumbing, and I was pretty good, but I was more on the sides of commercial, so couldn't like for big businesses and stuff. I would put up like rain drains and stuff, so that way like when it rains, it goes down, it goes into into rivers and stuff. And I think she was paid more than me, and I didn't care. I was like, good for her, high five. And after that, I went into sales within alcohol. And because I felt I was better at, selling things than I was, doing construction and labor jobs. And needless to say, I'm right. Like, I'm a big guy, and I do like to lift things, but I'm not good at all at doing construction. I can do it, and I would do a good job at it. I guess the point is that I just don't want to. So when you don't want to do something, you become really bad at what you're not wanting to do. And then on the flip side, I was doing more work than some of the girls who were at the sales job. I was doing way better than them. I was taking more hours. I was doing more within the community of the liquor store that I was working at. And I honestly, I did a lot more in terms of like, hey, I wasn't just the salesperson, I was also a stock guy, I was this and that. The only thing I didn't do was paperwork, needless to say. And I got paid more because I did more. That has nothing to do with genders. It had more to do with, oh, you do more, you get more. And the people who were, actually I was majority female that were higher up than me in that job, got paid more. So needless to say, you do more, you get more. Do less, you get less. That's the way I believe the world should be run. And then when I was in barbering, needless to say, that I was trained by a few people. Like, I had an initial, like, oh, this guy's training me. But there were some other barbers who came in who were not male, who trained me as well. And, I learned off of them. I never complained about how much I was getting, to the degree of, oh, this person's making more than me. I guess it would piss me off more if someone was doing less than me, regardless of gender. And another story is I was at a workshop, and a feminist approached me and asked me, like, oh, like, who are you voting for? And I said, this party. And in Canada, we do have different parties, but I said, oh, this party. And they're like, well, would you care if a woman ran? I'm like, no, not really. As long as they're in my party, I could care less. I care if my party gets in. Why? Because that is my philosophy. And I might as well just say it, because this is a uncensored show. Yes, I am a conservative. I do vote conservative. Yes, we've had a conservative female prime minister. And do I care? No. I think she did a pretty good job. She left a little soon. Actually, the elections for the Conservative Party just happened. And I was like, yeah, go. I think her name's Candace. I was like, yeah, go Candace. And someone I know is just like, she's stepping down so that way somebody else can take over. I'm like, oh, who's in the rankings then? Because that's all I cared about. And then they're like, oh, this person. And so I just like, I think it was Pierre who won. And I was just like, yeah, go Pierre. I find that funny, because it's just like, everybody thinks of these, the right, because I'm center right. I don't even agree with my own party sometimes, but feminists like to take that and take the fact that I'm conservative and be like, oh, well, you don't care about women's rights. I absolutely do. If you want to stay home, stay home. If you want to go work, go work. But please, don't complain when you're not doing a certain job and getting paid. Like you have to do more to get more. Anyways, but that the last story was. We came to a consensus because I was just like, well, what kind of feminist are you? Like, are you the olden time feminist or the new one that hates all men? And she said, I just want equality. I'm like, okay, then you're the older one who just wants equality. Because the newer ones are just like, fuck men, meh. And I'm like, no. So what I actually found out, and I'm just realizing, is that there was an English woman by the name of Mary Wollstonecraft, and she lived from April of 1959 to September of 1797. And she's apparently the first founder of the feminist movement, or in other words, she is an advocate of women's rights. This I did not know. I did not know who started it. This is our way of, holding each other's hands until all right. So she got married the year she died. And she died at 38. Ouch. Anyways, so, like, we're going to hold each other's hands while we figure this out. I'm going to go on this journey together. And I don't, I do know, as far as feminism goes, is that within women's rights, and I'm all for them, but again, you want to stay home, stay home. You want to go and do things, go do things. You want to sell your feet pics to OnlyFans, you got it. But I'm very, very much opposed to being told that I'm not an advocate if I agree with everything. I don't agree with the Me Too movement. And as far as it goes, if feminism took over and women started to, gain more rights, the right to vote, etc., you would have to work at that time, and a lot of women actually didn't want it. It was actually the men who pushed for it. I believe it was the Democratic men. Women wanted to stay home, and these men are just like, no, you can get out there, do things, and be more work related, blah blah blah. And it's just like, but women didn't want to do that. Women wanted to stay home. So there is that, and I don't agree with that. I believe that they wanted to stay home. Let them stay the fuck home. I don't believe in forcing people to do anything, realistically. I believe on the basis of, well, to a point. If you want to stay home, at least clean the house if you have a partner. And don't just stay home living off of the government just because you fucking stubbed your toe. Like, no. There's also the movements and ideologies like liberal feminism, apparently, and radical, and this is me reading off of Wikipedia. I'm not suggesting or saying anything. I'm just reading off of what I'm hearing. So, radical feminism, materialist ideologists, anarcha-feminism? That's a thing? What is this? Anarcha-feminism. Is a system analysis which combines the principles analysis of anarchist theory with feminism. Oh, I used to be an anarchist, so. This is a wow. This is a lot. This is a lot to take in. Right? You shouldn't know. Oh, anti-capitalist, anti-authoritarian. I love how people just don't want to listen to anything anyone says except their own words and breaths, that they're like, oh, I'm an anarchist. I'm anti-government and authority. No, you're just anti-everything, and you just need a hug. Transgender. Okay, so here I can talk about, because it does say social construct ideology, and I'm just not ready to go into that. But the transgender movement and the transgender people, and maybe I'll touch on it. Need some water. So this is another reason why I say, hey, you do more, you get more. You do less, you get less. Is because there's also the transgender people, and I want to touch on the LGBTQ, RS, TUV, WX, Y, and Z people on another episode. But not to say that I'm against them. I'm not really for, I guess. I'm just kind of there. I don't care what you do. But this kind of goes along with, if a man can become a woman, there's so many building blocks here. And it kind of, like, why aren't the feminists pissed off that female swimmers, competitional swimming team is getting beaten by a man who, was a man. Sorry. Was a man. No, I'm not even sorry. He was a man. He was a man, though. And then he decided that he wanted to chop off his genitalia and say that he's a woman, just because he was, 100... What's his name? Leah Thomas? Yeah. Oh, he was born... thing. This person is younger than me. This make me tired. Before and after rankings. So, yeah, this doesn't quite make sense to me, and this is why I don't like transgender people going into women's sports, like transitioned men to women's sport, because it doesn't Doesn't make sense. Because this Leah Thomas was ranked 462 as a man, but now as a Division I champion swimmer, which doesn't make sense. So what? Maybe we should make two divisions, because, there are two different types of people who are going from either a man to a woman or a woman into a man. So make two more of the, call it T man or T woman. And they can have their own division. But again, there might not be enough of them. That's the problem. Leah Thomas was top swimmer before HRT. Hormone therapy. Oh, hormone replacement therapy. I should know this. I don't take it, so I don't know. Yeah. So, I have questions for feminists. Why aren't you pissed about this? Why are you pissed about, you're pissed at, oh, this man's in a position of power. Why aren't more women? Because women aren't choosing the job, and you have to be competent at the job. You can't just, expect to go in. What's the first? United States president. No. Stop doing that. VP. Kamala Harris. I forgot her name because it's just irrelevant to me. Apparently she's the first? She is the first female vice president and the highest ranking female official in U.S. history. There you go. She's Asian? No, Kamala. No, that's African. She has African heritage, apparently. What do you mean African when she's... Well, okay, Asian. India's in Asia. Okay, this makes more sense. She grew up in Oakland. No wonder she's backwards. They're sleepy fucking Joe Biden. I know, and I'm not saying she's terrible because she's a woman. I'm saying she's incompetent because she's bloody well incompetent. Former Prime Minister of Canada, Kim Campbell, is a Canadian political diplomat, lawyer, and writer who served as the 19th Prime Minister of Canada. A fucking beautiful year in 1993, when I was born. Somewhere around there was a woman. I'm not going to even tell anybody my birthday, but the very day I was born, she was still in office. So, a beautiful day that was, until she stepped down. I think she stepped down. What do you mean progressive? All right. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm not opposed to I'm not opposed to the Order of Canada. What the fuck? I don't even know half my shit right now. I'm not opposed to a woman being in higher power. I'm really not. I was born into it, if anything. Um, Jean Christian. Oh, all right. Yeah, yeah. Jean Christian took over. Fucking liberal. Um, am I? Yeah, like I said, I'm not opposed to, um, women, especially like progressive women. If you're progressive, that's awesome for you. I'm so happy for you. But I'd prefer the classical conservatives to come in, regardless of who you are. Um, Holy fuck, Joe Clark's still alive. Jesus. Um, I guess it just boils down to, you know, what the movement really stand for and what they're campaigning for lately. Work, equal pay, equal pay. You got to do equal work to get equal pay. Like I've been saying, own property. I know tons of women who own property. I'm so happy for them. They're awesome. Receiving education. I think a lot of women actually excel faster than men, and so like I think that um, that's a thing. I actually think that I'd have to look up stats. Let me just men and women. Ooh, stats on education. Statista. This is on Statista. And this is for, I don't, thanks. I don't, oh my god. Educational attainment. Primary, male. Secondary, it's about equal. And then after that, it's 41% women and 36% men. For the fact that there's no 100% in all of it is astounding. But as I said, it all boils down to, yes, in the very beginning, which is primary, women do tend to fall a little behind because they just want to be little girls and they want to play with dolls or whatever they do. I don't even know. They just don't. They just don't care. And my kids are too different as well. Like one cares and one doesn't. One just wants to go have fun and play with her dollies. Whereas in like secondary school, which I believe is grade 8 to, I'm gonna go to a different one because I'm hoping to read the same stats because I'm not adding cookies to my fucking regimen. Yeah, this one. So, gender-related differences in desired level of education attained among students in Canada. This is in Canada. So I think what I was reading was an American site. So in America, women pursue college more, is what that one's saying. Table 1, bachelor's degree at the highest level desired, 85% of women compared to 79.6% of men. Percent of age 15 to 24 that choose bachelor's degree above desired of head of education by sex, 2016. But these are 2016 stats. Why do we not have any 2022? And don't get me wrong, I know there are some women who get held back because of creepy ass fucking college professors and blah 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 blah. But let's not kid ourselves. There are avenues in which you can deal with that. And have I had a person make advances on me where I had to leave a business? Absolutely. I found I've dealt with a whole bunch of shit. But I still went up to the owner and said, this is what's happening and this is what I don't like, so I'm going to take a step back and you guys can deal with it from there. Turns out that they already dealt with it beforehand, and I'm still taking a step back. Great business though. It's just shame about what went on. Statista. I don't want to. Okay. Anyways, I think this is American. It doesn't show me. It doesn't show me anything that says that it's not American, so I'm assuming it's American. But yeah, these are amazingly accurate, though. So, moving on though. Enter contracts. Why would you want to enter a contract in the beginning? Entering contracts just suck. I mean, there's been a few contracts that I've signed, but I'm not going there. Have equal rights within marriage. I mean, if you marriage is supposed to be a give and take. So if you give something, you give. So if you want to stay home, clean house, and I'll go work, that's fine. That's cool. I don't care. You do that. But if we're behind on bills, you'll get a job. Because I'd be already fucking busting my ass. So you need to do something. Maternity leave. There's already a thing in place for maternity leave. There's also a paternity leave, so that way men can help too. And that's super duper fun. Feminists have also worked to ensure access to contraception, contraception, anti-conception, and fertility control. Yeah. There's that. There's birth control. So that makes this next one stupid. Right? Legal abortions. Now, I don't care if you want to get an abortion. Your body, your choice. But in Canada, I don't have a choice in this. That it's my money, my choice. And it should be my money, my choice. See what I'm saying? Because the fucking government of Canada doesn't. Bullshit. Anyways. Social integration. Yeah, I never understood this one. More women who are from, and I actually quite enjoy seeing other women come. And I don't mean to sound like um, weird about this, but like, foreign girls are quite like sometimes they come in and they're so much more attractive. They take care of themselves better. They just like they work harder, and it's just like um, some of the guys come in too, and they're looking super fine, and I'm just like, damn, I wish I was them. I'm not bisexual. I just know that like whenever I see a guy, I'm just like, you are looking fine. That's a thing, and that's not a me trying to hit on you thing. That's a me jealous of you thing. And rather than just be like a dick about it, maybe you're a really nice guy. So like, let's be friends. Um, and to protect women and girls from here we go. The big R word that I don't know if I'm allowed to say on YouTube, um, which I agree. Um, but as Ben Shapiro said, I shouldn't go into sketchy neighborhoods flashing $100 bills above my head, just like you should probably make the conscious decision not to go into parties with drunk idiots. So, no, it is not at all the fault of the person that has had something happen to them. It is more so the decision that, hey, maybe we should teach people not to make sketchy ass decisions and do sketchy ass things. Maybe that, instead of looking at the boys and saying, hey, you shouldn't do this, because we're already trying to teach them how to fucking. We're already trying to teach, like, men to be good men. We don't need um, women coming in and say, no, you need to do it better, because that's uh, it's becoming a problem. Well, we can only do so much. Have you ever seen a man? They literally look at a hot dog, compare the size to their genitalia, and then stick their own crotch into a hot dog bun. All right. I haven't done that personally because I was raised right, but there are some times where I want to poke a hole in my couch just to feel something, just because I've been single for so long. It's not it's not an impulse that I react on. However, sometimes that men are stupid, and we think we can get away with things like poking holes into couches, and we can't. So, and I'm not saying that I do poke holes in couches. If I did something like that, I wouldn't up and admit it on the internet. Moving on. Sexual harassment, and you know what? It actually happens to both sides, such as my story before. I was harassed because I am apparently attractive. And it sucks. It actually really does suck. Because, nobody believes you. The first question I get asked every time, I bring it up is, oh, was she hot? So did you like it? Um, no. I did not like it. And she's attractive. She's just not my type. I wasn't interested. So it became weird, and I don't want to get too far into it. Uh, Needless to say that there was a meal involved, and then afterwards, I was told it was a date. And I was just like, no. And domestic violence. Actually, domestic violence, I do want to go into the statistics within domestic violence because this um, Oh, Jesus Christ. So, so in Oklahoma, don't go to Oklahoma if you want a relationship. Women Gender Equality of Canada? What is this? What is this? In 2019, of the 107,810 people of the aged 15 or over partner, 79% were female. Okay, what about the men? See, this is what I don't understand, is that y'all talk a big game about, like, oh, women get domestically abused, but they're, like, I'm looking right now, I don't want to look at Canada women, because that statistic might be fucked up. Y'all don't talk about the fact that men get abused too. Men don't go around and reporting it. Why? Because we don't want to be considered as weak or a wimp. And I'm not taking away from the people who get abused by men. Women who get abused by men, that is a terrible thing. I believe that men who do rapes and oh god, I just said it on YouTube. Okay, don't care actually, because you know what I'm about to say will justify everything. Women. Why are they lumping in? Oh, okay, never mind. So, men who rape and abuse women should be castrated or killed, depending on which one you want to go with. Preferably, anybody who does something like that and gets away with it should be a dishonorable act such as that should have a dishonorable death. So, am I okay with it? No. Do I condone it? No. And I'm going to have this out in the internet that I do not condone this thing. This product in which that they're laying out. The abuse of women is horrendous. But at the same time, I do want to say, on a side note, that men get abused too. There's tons of women out there who will say, oh, women go through this, women go through that, women go through this, women go through that. Yes, it's terrible, it sucks, and I'm sorry that my gender does this. However, women abuse men too. And this is more towards the the newer feminists, is that when someone says that they're a male's rights activist, don't attack them. Okay. Or get some facts out of them. Make sure that they have accurate facts. I know tons of people who say that they're men's rights activists and they have no idea what they're talking about. But at the same time, I know tons of people who are feminists who do know what they're talking about. And the same as the reverse, is that I know a lot of people who are men's rights activists who know what they're talking about, and a lot of feminists who don't know what a fucking doorknob is. So, ironic. There's a door right there. So, I don't. Oh yeah, the sex industry. I remember hearing about women who wanted to get out of the porn industry because they don't want to be labeled as sexual objects to men, because that is what promotes rape and domestic violence and other shit. So I wanna understand the feminists who are also sex workers on OnlyFans and Pornhub. I wanna understand the logic there, because it's a contradiction. It really is. I'm not like don't get me wrong. I think that it's like, if you want to show your body, great. You want to do it for pay? Awesome. That was a thumb up, by the way. I don't care what you want to do. I don't I don't I don't have a disagreement with your lifestyle choices. I have a disagreement with the fact that the thing that you're promoting, which is feminism, is trying to get women to be away from being sexual objects, and here you are being one. That doesn't make sense. That's like me saying, oh, I'm an amateur athlete and all I do is eat shit. And I don't mean the actual feces. I actually mean like McDonald's. If I'm sponsored by McDonald's and I'm an athlete, that doesn't quite make sense. It's like when UFC was sponsored by Burger King. I didn't quite understand it, but all of a sudden I wanted a burger. So, I mean, you get your point across, but when you're a feminist and you're putting your body out in the internet, it's a contradiction. And then you get male feminists afterwards who are just like trying to get their knobs stroked because they think that, oh, if I pretend I'm a feminist and pretend I give a fuck, she'll have sex with me. No, that's not how that works. I also want to touch base on the fact that people cry wolf. There has been actually more reportings of females who cry wolf about, oh, this guy diddled my biscuit, more than the men. Why? Why would you promote yourself to be a feminist, someone who has, integrity and honor, and then do something as dishonorable as that? I highly believe that anybody who cries wolf at those kind of situations should be thrown in jail instead of the person for twice as long as the other person was about to get sentenced. So, let's say someone was about to get sentenced to 2 years in prison for, having sex with someone against their will. I believe that the man who's innocent, it could be woman, the person who's innocent, who got accused, just saying, should be let go, and the person falsely accusing him, should be sentenced to, instead of the 2 years I believe I just said, it should be 4. So that is just what I believe. And of course, some of the things that I'm saying is out of I'm just a lot of the stuff that I'm saying is based on, I'm reading some of this stuff, and it breaks down to, my belief is from breaking down what I'm reading and applying it to a principle of honor and diligence. And so when I read something like gender biology, as I also know that there are some feminists who are also a part of the LGBT community who are non-binary and stuff. I'm like, you're contradicting yourself again, because if you don't have a gender, or you don't identify with a gender, or you're a man who's a woman, then feminism is for women. I mean, yes, I said in the very beginning that yes, I am a woman or a feminist. Technically, it just means that I agree with the women's rights, that they should be able to do things, not that I'm an actual feminist. I agree with the rights of the old feminist movement. I'm a man's rights activist. If anything. Feminist psychology. Feminist psychology is emerge, critique, outlook of the male subjects, where the study of the male subjects were earned. Literature. Cool. Music. I think there should be tons of women in music. They have such nice, well, actually, some of them have horrendous voices, but like Courtney Love, can't stand her, but there are some with beautiful voices. The one thing I can't stand is when I'm listening to someone and their beautiful voice is singing about dog shit. And that's for every gender. Shut the fuck up. Come up with better lyrics. Make it make sense. Thank you. And this goes into politics of socialism, fascism, civil rights, neoliberalism. They forgot communism, because that's where we're all fucking heading. And yeah, that's the end of this page. So to break it down, feminism is good. I'm not knocking feminism. The first couple waves are better than the last, but I just believe that everybody should be treated equally. Everybody should, like, if come in for, let's all just come in for a fucking hug and not hate each other. Because I mean, like, yeah, men suck, men stink, but we stink because we're trying to work hard for you ladies, or at least some of us. I mean, unless you're Andrew fucking Tate, which I can't tell if that guy's, like, out of context or not, because I've seen some of the videos and they don't look edited, and so, like, some of the things he says is barbaric, and I would never in my life want to, I don't know, I kind of want to sit down with him, listen to him, hear him out a bit, understand his point of view, and if it's exactly what he says, then just mark him off as, like, hey, I got a nice episode out of you. But other than that, there are some people who I don't agree with. There's a lot of people actually I don't agree with, and to that I say thank you for joining me on this podcast. Once again, if you're interested in some sick beard products, go to my link in the description below. Look for me on all social platforms, and thank you for talking about everything and nothing all at the same time, and I hope you have a wonderful time. Cheers, ciao.